Check for burrs. Doesn't feel like there's any.
Alright guys, welcome to a new video on the Polaris Sportsman 90. Last video we found out that this thing quit working and we tore it all apart. Had spark, didn't have compression. Figured out that it was the piston and the cylinder just pretty much locked up. So we think the oil pump failed because of the cable was pulled out, and we think that was the culprit here. So we ordered a bunch of new parts here. We've got a brand new cylinder kit, piston, new spark plug. We got a kick lever kit. We got a new oil pump right here. So we're gonna be replacing all that today on this thing. I think we're gonna start with the rebuild kit here. I think it's all honed and ready to go. So here's the new cylinder. Let's just quick see what this looks like. See here. Yeah, it's all honed. You can see the lines through the cylinder, so that's all good to go. I think this comes with the piston. Yeah. All right. Here's the piston right here. Little baby piston. And then the rings down there. So we'll get this all oiled up. We'll get the piston on there first. And yeah, begin this process. All this stuff should be perfect. It comes in the kit, so all the ring gaps and everything are perfect on this thing. It's all set to go. You don't have to measure any of that. Let's install the piston first. We gotta get into there. And last video, we found out that the crank rod bearings were fine. All right, so first step in the process is to get this old gasket off of the, let's see here, base of the cylinder. You can kind of see in there. See all this corrosion right here? We're gonna take a razor blade, scrape all that stuff off, and try not to get it into the actual crankcase area. So that's the first step. Get in there, scrape that off, and then we'll replace it with a brand new gasket, which comes in the kit. So let's just see. Hopefully it comes in the kit. Let's see. Oh yeah, they're at the bottom of that. So we've got all new gaskets for it. But let's get the knife out. Start scraping away. All right, put a little oil on this bearing before we install this guy. Get that nice and lubed up. All right, now we can install this right there. Hopefully the lighting's not too bad. We can put that right in there. Just like that. I gotta get the gasket in there as well. We cleaned up that surface, so let's see if we can find the gasket for that. Alright, here's the gasket kit for it. Let's see if we can get this out without breaking it. Alright, here's the gasket going on. Let's see which way does it go. It goes this way, it looks like. A little tricky to get on there. Alright, so that gasket's on there now. That thing's really hard to get on, so if you guys get this kit, it's a paper gasket, and you just have to be really careful not to rip that. But alright, we're gonna get the piston on next. Let's see. Here's the piston right here. Let's check this out. See if there's an arrow points arrow. Oh, there's the clips right there. That's good that it comes with those. Let's see what the piston looks like here. We're gonna check this out for burrs and stuff like that. Yep, there's an arrow. Arrow points to the exhaust port, so towards the front of the bike or quad. Check for burrs. Doesn't feel like there's any. We're gonna quick slide it through the cylinder here, just to make sure it goes in. Let's see if it fits in here. Alright, just put that through like this. Yeah, feels like there's no burrs in there or anything. You don't want any burrs. Alright, we'll lube this up. We gotta put the rings on it too. So let's see where are the rings at. Oh, they're there. The rings are in the bottom. Let's see. I believe the rings are the same. Yep, right there. So the STD is pointing up. Number, if there's a number on the ring, it always points towards the up part of the ring. So if you put these on, you want the STD pointing up. Alright. There. That one's on. Next one. See, there's a little clip right there. Top ring's the easiest to get on. So you can see both rings are now on. The STD is pointing up on both. You can see STD. And where's this guy? STD pointing up. So this thing's good to go. I'm gonna lube this up and then put that guy on. We're gonna put one circlip in there right away, or whatever kind of clip this is. A snap ring, I guess you could call it. Whichever side's easiest to get to, so probably, yeah, this side we'll put it in. Sometimes these are tricky to get in, especially when you're working with the really small ones. Might need to get like a little bit of pliers in there. Let's see if that works here. Just gotta twist that in a little bit. There. I'll just kind of clip it into place. And you don't want it to be on that gap, so twist that over. So it should look like that. That's good to go. Now we're all set to put the piston on. Everything's good. Check for burrs one more time. I feel a little burr right there. Let me go get a little sandpaper and just take that burr off of there. 600 grit sandpaper. So I felt a little burr right there. Just see, that's all it takes to get that off. Just kind of there. That's better. We don't want any burrs on there. Right there on that. There. There, now we're good to go. All right, that can be installed. All right, let's see if we can get the piston in there. Going on. else on here. Alright, piston's on. Alright, so we got the piston on here. You can see it right there. We got the other pin on the other side in. So everything's good to go, everything moves. So now, we're going to be putting on the cylinder. Let's see which way this thing goes on here. I think this is going to go like this. Exhaust to the bottom. Pretty sure. Yeah, just like that. Because you can see the exhaust pointing right there. So the exhaust port's right there. That'll go on like that. We're gonna lube this up with some oil. Check for burrs. Make sure there's nothing in these ports. I'll probably take a little sandpaper. Just lightly go over them. Because a burr will cause a huge scratch. Also on the bottom of here. When they machine these parts, sometimes they're cut out and then they leave those burrs. And they don't really get them all the time. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Alright. We'll oil that up and we should be good to go. Hopefully it slides right on. Let's see. It was a little tricky to get it off too, so I'm guessing it might be kind of hard. This has to like go halfway in. So we got the cylinder on down here and I put the head on. I did not torque these down yet. But I just wanted to make sure this spun over, so just spinning the motor, everything sounds smooth in there, and all the rings are lined up perfectly, so I think we're good to go. We're going to look up the torque spec for the head, and then I also put the new oil pump on. As you guys know, this cable right here was not connected to up in here. So the oil pump was not working. So when you look in here now, what's supposed to happen is when this wire is pulled right here, that pump is supposed to pump like this. Let's see if I can get it. Might need a little help here. Up here. See, that pumps it. So when you pull on that wire, it pumps it. And when the throttle is hooked up to this, it'll pull and pump oil. That wasn't happening. So we have to hook this. So we have to hook this wire up into the throttle cable and make sure that's working before we start this up. Also, I'm gonna mix up some premix for this for the first couple rides, and then just make sure this pump is working properly. But yeah, so we got a new pump in there, so that should be perfect. We're gonna look up those torque specs for the head, torque those down, put the spark plug in, and go from there. Alright, check it out. So when I move the throttle, you can now see the pump going. And that wasn't happening before, so now we know that the pump should be working. And it's pumped up through this line right here. So we can take that off when it's running and actually see if it's pumping out oil. But in order to do that, we have to premix the gas. There's a little place where this wire actually has to connect into there, and it's a little bit complicated, but everything's good to go now. We can put this back on, and we just have to torque down the head before we start this thing up. So let's go get those torque specs. Alright, we got the torque wrench out. Torque specs for the head bolts are 14 foot-pounds, just hooked it up. So let's torque those puppies down. Alright, let's see if we can do this. Alright, these are all torqued down. Let's see if it still spins here. Oh yeah, nice. Alright, I think we can put the spark plug in now. See if it's got compression here. We got a brand new spark plug. Spark plug, that's kind of nice. Put that guy in. Alright, plug is in. Put the boot on here. Let's see if it's got compression now. Oh yeah. Got a little bit of compression there. See here. Nothing crazy, but I think once those rings seat, we'll be good to go. Well, should we try her? Put this guy on here. Everything's torqued down. Alright, we're gonna add a little oil to the gas here. Alright, here we go. First start. Let's see if she starts up here. Whew, she runs. That's good. We just have to make sure now the pump is working, and we should be good to go. Yeah, start it right up. Let's see if it starts right up again. Alright, it's smoking a lot. That's good. All right, we now know that this thing runs. That's the first step. Now we're gonna be checking the oil pump, making sure that works. So we've got premix in here. So we're running like 40 to 1 just for the break-in. And then to check and see if the oil pump's working. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to start up the machine, hold this lever in like that, and pump it a couple times and see if there's oil coming from the line right up here. Hard to see, this line right here going into the carburetor. So that's basically what we're gonna look for. If we're getting oil, we can then drain the tank and run a very, very, very light mixture of oil and gasoline in there. Probably like 100 to 1. Because if that pump's working, then we don't need oil in the gas as well. It'll be way, way, way too rich. So, all right, let's do that, start it up, and see if we're getting oil through that line. All right, so I've got the line off right here. Kind of zoom in here for you guys. Now we're just gonna be checking to see if there's oil coming out of here. So hopefully there will be. Let's start this thing up. All right, so the pump is working. I don't know if you guys got that on camera, but the oil is pumping through that line. So we're good to go. We can put everything back together and we can drain the tank. And we're gonna mix it probably like 100 to 1 just to be safe. But everything is good to go here. So let's put everything back together. I'm working on the kickstart mechanism right here. This spring in here is really hard to wind up. So I'm looking into that. But once we get that going, everything will be complete. All right, everything's back together. Kickstart's on here, works great. I didn't go through the process of putting this on because it was pretty boring. Anyway, we're draining the old gas out of it right now because the oil pump does work, so we don't need oil in the gas anymore. And everything's back together on this thing, looking pretty good. It starts right up, no issues whatsoever. So this thing's pretty much done. One thing we need to fix are the wheels. You can see the alignment's really off. You can see the lights right in the middle. But the wheels, this one's like curved way out. We're gonna curve that back in. And basically, you just adjust these in here. So that looks actually pretty rough right there. That one's like really wobbly. That one is too, but, oh, that one's bent. Look at that. That one's bent in there. That would be why that's wobbly. So we'll try to take that off, bend it back, put that back on. All right, let's speed up this process a little bit quicker. These gas cans really suck. I hate these little attachments that go in here. Let's fix the steering here. All right, wheel alignment's a lot better. So I think we're gonna try it out. First ride on it coming up. All right, so first ride, done with it. Runs really good. We're gonna throw the GoPro on and quick take it for a little rip. Well guys, that wraps up the build on the Sportsman 90. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and maybe even learned something during this build. So anyway guys, stay tuned for future videos, and until next time, we are out.